Jesus wept. It is known as the shortest verse in the Bible, but those two words carry more than many people realize, because in John chapter 11, these tears are not only about sadness, they open a window into the heart of Christ, into the meaning of grief, and into the kind of God we are really dealing with. So stay here for a moment, because this passage holds truths, comfort, and healing that go much deeper than most people first notice. Lazarus had been dead 4 days. To us, that may just sound like a number, but back then, it carried weight. Some Jews, like the Sadducees, did not believe in resurrection at all. Others did. And culturally, some Jewish traditions held that the soul lingered near the body for 3 days. So by the 4th day, people considered hope gone. By then, nobody was saying maybe he will still wake up. Martha even said there would be a smell. The burial had already happened. The house was already full of mourning. People were already crying, already consoling the sisters, already accepting that it was over. And that matters, because Jesus did not arrive while people were still hoping something might happen. He arrived after they had already accepted the end. And many people know what that kind of place feels like. Not only when someone dies, but when something in life has sat in the dark for so long that hope has gone quiet around it, a home that still stands but no longer feels warm, a relationship that still exists but feels dead inside, a heart that still gets up, works, answers messages, and carries on while something heavy sits underneath it all. Now that is a 4th-day place. Now notice something else. Jesus heard Lazarus was sick, and he still stayed where he was 2 more days. This is where many hearts stumble, because pain always tries to interpret delay. It says, if he loved me, he would have come sooner. If he cared, this would not have gone this far. But John does not let us read the story that way, because the same chapter that tells us he delayed also tells us he loved Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. So do not miss that. The delay and the love are in the same story, so his delay cannot automatically mean distance. Love is not always proved by immediate rescue. Sometimes God is doing something wiser and deeper than the heart can see at first. Then Martha comes out to meet him and says, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." That is not fake faith. That is hurt faith. That is what it sounds like when someone still comes to God, but with pain already pressing hard against what they know of his love. And Jesus does not rebuke her. He lets grief speak. He lets disappointment breathe. He lets the tears stay in the room. And that matters, because many believers think they need to come to God with polished faith. But Martha comes with wounded faith, and Jesus receives her. So let this sink in. Do not bring fake faith to God. Bring hurt faith, then Jesus says your brother will rise again. Martha answers with doctrine. She says yes in the resurrection at the last day. But Jesus wants to move her from a truth she can repeat to the person standing in front of her. And that is why he says, "I am the resurrection and the life." That is the center of the chapter. He is not merely pointing Martha to an event far away. He is pointing her to himself. Life is in him. Hope is in him. The future is in him. And that is why this passage gives stronger comfort than soft religious words. Because Christian hope is not built on vague ideas. It is built on Jesus, a person. And this next part matters too. The chapter speaks of Lazarus as sleeping. Jesus does not speak as if Lazarus has floated off into some fully conscious life where resurrection no longer matters. He speaks as if Lazarus is resting, waiting to be awakened by his voice. That fits the whole chapter, because Martha's hope is still fixed on the last day. So the comfort is not that death is unreal. The comfort is that death will not keep Christ's people forever. And then we come to that verse again. Jesus wept. Do not rush past it. He knew Lazarus would come out. He knew the grave would not win. And still, he wept. Why? Because Jesus is not cold in the face of sorrow. But John does not stop at tears. He also says Jesus was deeply moved and troubled, and in the original Greek sense of the passage, that is stronger than quiet sadness. It points to deep inner agitation, even indignation. In other words, Jesus was not standing there making peace with death. He was confronting what death had done. That means Jesus did not treat death like something gentle, harmless, or natural. He faced it as an enemy, and that matters. Because many people speak of death as if it is just part of life. But Christ groaned before it. He wept before it. He moved toward it. So when you bring your pain to Him, you are not bringing it to someone distant. You are bringing it to one who understands the ache and hates what death, suffering, unfairness, and loss have done to human life. That tells you something about the God we worship. He is not detached. He is not uninterested. He is not untouched. The God who knows the number of hairs on your head is the same God who stood before a grave and wept. The same God who holds all things together is the God who was deeply moved by what sorrow had done. So yes, He is in control, but His control is not cold. It is living, personal, and full of heart. Then Jesus says, "Take away the stone." He is not afraid of what has already been sealed shut. And when He calls Lazarus out, He shows that He is not only compassionate, He is Lord. He does not only cry with us, He speaks to the grave. But even then, not everyone believed. Some did. Others hardened. That means miracles by themselves do not necessarily win hearts. The deepest issue is whether the heart will receive the one standing there. So if your life has reached a fourth-day place, hear this clearly. What looks final to people is not final to Christ. If He seems delayed, do not rush to call Him loveless. He still knows how to receive hurt faith. He still knows how to stand before sealed places and call life out of them. And He still knows how to be both what we need most in sorrow, the one who weeps with us, and the one who overrules the grave.